The year is 2023. PBS Plus has just launched, bringing the world's streaming services to 4,387. How can anyone be expected to go through all this content? Fear not, loyal passengers. Captain Joe Shoes and his first mate Mez are here to travel through space and time to bring you the best nuggets pop culture has to offer. Strap in. It's time for the JoeMeZ podcast. Hello everyone and welcome to episode 361 of the JoeMeZ podcast. I'm Mez and my co-host as always is
the magistrate of Caravan City and the man who found some hidden treasure at PowerCon this past weekend. I'm Captain Joe Shoes from the JoeMeZ podcast.
Yeah, you are, buddy. You found some treasures, bro.
Call me Jacques Cousteau. Because I went discovering, Gomez.
I love it. That's a great way to start the show. I love to hear that shit. Ooh,
you know what's an even better way to start this show?
What?
Thank you guys for listening to the JoeMeZ podcast. Remember to hit that subscribe button, leave a 5-star review, follow us on all the social media at JoeMeZ. If you leave a review, we'll send you an 8x10. Leave some reviews. We like those. Yes, Jacques Cousteau of the Geek world, Gomez.
Yes.
I went deep and I swam until finally I came upon something I said I may be in the market for in Columbus, Ohio at PowerCon 2023. Last week, Gomez, I came on this very program and I said, I may have a hankering for some Filmation Ghostbusters.
Yeah, you did, buddy.
And I didn't find a lot of Filmation Ghostbusters at PowerCon.
Really?
I did see one figure, a mint on card Jake Kong figure, the main guy. Filmation Ghostbusters.
I love that monkey.
And I went over to the dealer and I said, hey, how much you got on this? And he started telling me how rare it was.
Of course.
Sure.
Of course.
And he goes, he's looking for $650. I said, okay, I'm not interested, but thank you. You know, card was a little beat up. You know what? It wasn't $650 worth. Okay, fine, whatever. But I thought that was it. I thought that was going to be all I was going to find. And after the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast live panel / podcast, I was hanging out with John Cohn and another gentleman named Craig, who I was just introduced to. And we were talking about what we might be in the mood for, what we might be hunting. And I brought up Filmation Ghostbusters. And Craig said, you know, I saw a Filmation Ghostbusters comic graded. Filmation Ghostbusters #1 graded 9.8. He's like, I swear it was only $100.
Wow.
And I said, really? He goes, yeah, it was at one of these smaller tables. They just have like one box of comics on the tables with regular toys and stuff. But he's like, I think it was in one of these 3 rows. So I go, okay, cool, man, thanks. And we went our separate ways. And I went looking for this table. And I went to a couple different people with some comics out. And I said, hey, do you have any Filmation Ghostbusters? They didn't seem to know what I was talking about. Not a lot of Filmation Ghostbusters, and we discussed this. It's not something that's overly popular, right? So people just hear Ghostbusters, they think Ghostbusters. It's not the Ghostbusters I'm looking for, and I'm not there to correct anyone. I just, say thank you and move on.
Yeah.
I find Mark Bitters, who is the senior official of the Figure Wrestling Federation. And I was telling him, I'm looking for this comic. And he was like, Mark is a big collector and stuff. And he flips a lot of stuff. He's a big garage sale guy. So he has a good idea of valuation and stuff and a good knowledge of old comics and toys and geek culture stuff. And then the guy, Craig, came back. He found me. He goes, yo, it's this table right over here in the next row.
Oh, love it.
So I go over there. And I start digging through. They have one box of all graded comics. So I start digging through. The first one right on top, a G.I. Joe Gem crossover.
Whoa, what the fuck? It was made for you, bro.
So I'm like looking at this. So the cover is on the left side is Gem and the Holograms, and on the right side is the Dreadnoks as Cold Slither, which is my favorite singular episode of G.I. Joe.
This is hysterical.
So I'm looking at this. I'm holding this in my hand. They want $450 for it. And I'm not a comic book collector.
Yeah.
But there's a part of me that goes, this really wraps me up in a nutshell, and I feel like I have to have it.
Oh,
now,
God.
Cold Slither is like this one episode of G.I. Joe where Dreadnoks become a rock and roll band, and they put like subliminal messages in the songs, like give your money to Cobra, and all that stuff. And it's just such a great episode. And they have like a song, we're Cold Slither, we're rocking around.
We're Cold Slither, you'll be joining us soon. A band of vipers playing our tune. With an iron fist and a reptile's hiss, we shall rule. We're tired of words.
Like, it's great. But I'm like, okay, $450. I can't do this. I flipped through two more, and there it is. Filmation Ghostbusters, the comic book, #1, graded a 9.6.
Okay.
And they wanted $100 for it. Now, is this thing worth $100? I'll be honest with you, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm here. I'm at PowerCon. I've had a hankering for some Filmation Ghostbusters. There hasn't been a lot to choose from. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can see it right now. I picked it up. Filmation Ghostbusters #1, graded 9.6 for the price of $100.
Nice.
It's
Let's
nice
read
and
it. Come
easy.
on.
Let's
read it.
It's nice and easy to transport home. I didn't have to worry about bending it
That's
or anything.
perfect. Yeah.
It slid right in the satchel of my backpack. The colors on it are pretty vibrant still. And then if you flip it over, you look at the back cover. It's First Comic presents the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in a new graphic novel.
Oh, look at that. Love it. That's
so this is from February 1987.
87.
So we're looking at 33 years there.
It's crazy. Did you look to see how many?
Right? Is that 36 years? Excuse me.
It's like how many did they do? A lot of issues of this thing?
Like, I don't know. I gotta look into it now that I'm home. I just got home late last night.
I'm so interested to see now. That's crazy.
Like I said, I'm not really a comic collector. The only comic book I have besides this is also graded, and it is the Masters of the Universe mini comic that I'm in.
Of course.
That was gifted to me by my double main man, Kinnick. A lot of good Kinnick stories from this weekend.
Oh, always.
We shared a room. But yeah, I wanted something Filmation Ghostbusters. I wasn't really planning to buy anything, especially not big or anything, because traveling with, expensive collectibles can be a pain. But this was like the perfect thing, the perfect item at the perfect time. Price was fine for me. It's something I will get some enjoyment out of. I can display it and look at it and be happy that I own it.
You have any ideas of how you would display it, like what you would put around it? Because it's something different, right? You don't have a lot of comics.
I think maybe if I get like a shelf or something, I could put it on like a picture stand and kind of lean it up. And
I like that.
Yeah.
But I think you got
they do these graded comics. They're in, these slabs.
Yeah.
So if you lean them or you have a stand,
it can stand up.
Them, yeah.
Stands up nice. I'm just gonna say, but I think you need a couple figures to put next to the guy. He's lonely.
Next to it now.
He's lonely. It's lonely up there on that shelf, baby.
I know.
Oh, that's great. I love it. I love hearing that.
That was my big purchase from PowerCon this week. I also came home with one other item, and that is an exclusive Major Bendy's Spotlight Spencer Powers figure.
Love it. Did you get it signed?
I got it signed.
Oh yeah,
by
baby.
Pixel Dan himself.
Took
a picture. It's really cool. It's a really good looking Bendy, and Pixel Dan is such a cool guy, and I've gotten to know him a little bit. We've done some live streams about Masters of the Universe. Yeah. I had him as a guest on the Captain's Log, and a lot of people will throw some shade at Pixel Dan for being, they say he's a shill for Mattel. And when you're in that spot, it's kind of hard not to be when you're in the influencer spot, you know? But at the same time, getting to know him, it's not a put on.
Yeah.
The dude genuinely loves toys. He loves Masters of the Universe. And he's a lot like me in the sense that we love being 40 years old and still being able to buy new stuff from the things we grew up in.
It's pretty awesome, yeah.
So it's a genuine and pure excitement that he has for these things, you know, even when he does have not so positive things to say about them. But
Sure.
I like Dan a lot. He's over the moon to see himself in figure form, and it's very cool for him and very cool to see.
Of course. Come on.
You know,
Who don't
I
want a
say this-
figure?
Exactly. And especially, like, I say this a lot, like Pixel Dan, way before I ever knew him, when Masters of the Universe Classics came out, and that we're going back to, like, I don't know, 2009 now.
It's a long time, bro.
I could not afford Masters of the Universe Classics. And I knew myself and knew I was going to want to be a completist, but I knew it was something I just couldn't swing at the time.
Yeah.
And Pixel Dan was the first guy I ever saw on YouTube doing unboxings. And that was my link to the Masters of the Universe Classics line. And his enthusiasm for this kept me invested in Masters of the Universe. It's my biggest fandom that I ever had. So I was getting to see these videos and basically living vicariously through him, but it kept me interested. It kept me wanting to see what was next for Masters of the Universe. And now I am in a better place in life where I can go and afford things that I want to buy for Masters of the Universe.
Yeah.
And I even got to be a character. And I think part of that is due to Pixel Dan for keeping my excitement for things like these up and making me still want to collect.
Thank you, Pixel Dan. Love it.
Yeah, thank you, Pixel Dan.
I love it.
Thank you, Pixel Dan.
So how was PowerCon? Because you were nervous, not nervous, but you were
Yeah.
like,
I
about
had
it
tempered
because
excitement.
because it wasn't a He-Man thing anymore. So how was it that it was mixed with everything?
Man, so the phrase I was using over the weekend was Identity Crisis Con.
It doesn't know what it is, huh?
Now, did I have fun? Yes.
Of course, yeah.
Was there some great vendors, some great toys, some great panels? Yes, absolutely. It helped a lot that I had a lot of people there. You know, all the majors were there. Kinnick was there. Pixel Dan, I got to hang out with for a little bit. Dave Wheeler, Mark Bitters. There were plenty of people for me to run into. And there were some major marks who I ran into. People stopping me, asking me to take photos and
Love it.
or if I could sign something for them. And absolutely, I will do these things. One woman stopped me, took a photo with me. And then like an hour later, this guy comes up to me like out of breath. He's like, shoes. It's like, yo, man, I don't know how I missed you before. I went away for like 10 minutes. And then when I came back, my mom was like, hey, look who I got a picture with.
That's great. Love it.
So I love that story.
That's great.
I had a really good time, but it was a convention that it felt like it didn't know what it wanted to be. And when I went to PowerCon in the past in Anaheim, it was for Motu fans, by Motu fans. Everything was Motu. All the panels were Motu, different angles of Masters of the Universe. You had voice actors there from the show. You had artists from the shows. All these people who have contributed to Masters of the Universe in some way were there. And at this convention, you didn't have those things. You had panels, but they were kind of hit or miss. Like one of them was like people who worked on the original Star Wars line, and that's cool.
Sure.
I would go and sit in on it, but I was like, you know what? Like not for me. It was a lot of things like that. And on the show floor, you had a ton of like these independent toy companies, which is cool. And they're trying to do their own thing and they're trying to make their own figures, but their toys don't have any, they're not licensed to anything. They're just cool looking toys, you know, at a premium price because they are, you know, being, you know, they're not being mass produced. So all this stuff costs money to make.
Sure.
And when your minimum order quantity is not the level of Mattel's, you know, let's say Mattel makes 100,000 He-Man figures and a smaller toy company is making 1,000 of whatever figures they're making, obviously your prices are going to go up. And the way I look at this, and whether rightly or wrongly, feel free to disagree, this is just an opinion, I look at it as, if I have no connection to these characters that you're making, sure, they may look cool on a shelf, but like, how do I feel invested in them? Like, I have an investment in He-Man the character. There was comic books and cartoons and years of merchandise and stories and books and whatever else. And for a line like Mythic Legions, which looks amazing displayed, and their setup was incredible. They had this giant toy mountain setup with all these cool looking barbarian and monster looking characters all engaged in battle, and it was great. But at the end of the day, it was just for me to look at, appreciate, and move on. Like, there was no incentive for me to put my money down for it. You know what I mean?
No, I understand.
And there was a lot of that. I got to see the Cat's Lair from Super 7 up close and personal.
Ooh.
It is even bigger than I expected, which is something I hear a lot.
Oh, baby.
It is beautiful. It is a dream play set.
So crazy.
It is absolutely massive. I couldn't believe, even knowing the size, and I knew it was shown off. We've seen the pictures of it from San Diego Comic-Con, but seeing it in person, it was on a giant table. It was perfectly displayed. It was just incredible. And Corporate Steve from Mattel was there, and he's like, dude, you order it? He's like giving me the nudge. And I told him, Steve, I just don't know what to do with it. I've been on the order screen like 3 different times with my mouse hovering above confirm order. And this is the truth. I've had it in my cart. I've been at the final page and I just chicken out because I just don't know what I'm going to do with it when it comes in. Because like, I already have this Thunder Tank. I have the Super 7 Snake Mountain that I may have to get rid of because I really don't have a place for it. I have 2 Eternias coming in at some point. So it becomes where am I going to get this space from?
Got to buy a new house, baby.
I'm going to have to at some point.
It's time to move. The toys need a new room, baby.
Oh my God. But beautiful. And so this was really the issue, was the convention is still very Motu centric. A lot of the dealers, Eternia Dreams was there. My friend Alan, who I've been buying from for years. He was there with a massive setup, beautiful setup, including vintage Eternia, fully assembled and working with the full monorail and the carts going around. Incredible display. And the thing is, if you're a Motu fan who's been to a prior PowerCon, I look at this and I think you would look at it as you kind of missed out on something, because they didn't have the variety of Motu panels that they've had in the past. They didn't have like the game show Saturday night where people are everybody's engaged and playing, and they had like a full-scale Jeopardy setup with a host and booths and buzz-ins and stuff. They didn't have like the late night fan-made Taiwanese foreign He-Man film that they showed while people were coming back to the hotel drunk. So there was stuff like that was missing. And John Cone, obviously we know John Cone, referee for WWE for years. He's got a WWE figure coming out soon. Good for him. I'm very happy for him.
That's funny.
He's a big Motu fan too. He goes to PowerCon every year. We met for the first time 2 years ago at PowerCon, and we were talking about that. It's like it does feel like it's missing something. And toy speaking, there was such a variety, and to be able to walk around and see all of it was great.
Sure.
But I wonder, if you're not a Masters of the Universe fan, if there was really enough for you to like enough meat on the bone for you to really enjoy the convention. And I really don't know if that was the case, because like I said, in the past, we've had kind of big name Masters of the Universe people. We had Alan Oppenheimer, the voice of Skeletor, Melanie Britt, the voice of She-Ra, Meg Foster, who's played Evil Lynn in the live action movies. You've had artists and other voice actors and all these people involved. And at this convention, the biggest guests, the top billed guests, were Matt Cardona, Brian Myers, and Mark Sterling.
Wow, really?
And those are my friends.
Of course, that's cool, but
Mark is the biggest Motu fan out of all of them. And even then, he's a very casual Masters of the Universe fan whose connection is really through the live action movie because it was just something him and his brother watched a bunch of times as kids. So there's no, like it just felt like it was missing something.
I get that.
Are you still able to have fun? Absolutely. Are you still able to have a good time? Yes, for sure. And part of me also, look, people were buying and selling all weekend long. But if the show floor is just the show floor, you can only walk around the show floor so many times.
Yes.
So if you're not going to panels or you're not interested in panels, is there really enough to keep you there for 3 days? A 3-day pass was only $60. So it's not a huge financial hit.
Yeah.
But I just like
you'll be bored. Like
yeah.
After the second day, it's like I don't need to go back to third day.
In all honesty, after the first day, if there's no panels you want to see, you can do it in a day. Like the merchandise on the floor isn't changing. It's just going to become less. But even then, so many people, all these vendors you can find online.
Yes.
Like Eternia Dreams is the biggest one there. I've been buying from them for years. If I see something I want, I'm not going to buy it there and carry it home. I'm just going to wait a week, email the guy and say, hey, when you get a chance, I'd like to buy this, this, and this. Send me an invoice and ship it to me, please.
Yeah.
I think that's the case for a lot of people where, Toy Vomit is there and Super 7 is there and all these big vintage toy places that we know. Toy Hio Rick was there, who runs another convention there. He had a table set up. Mr. Slowpoke, who listens to this show, was there with a setup. And good story about him in a second, but all these people are there. And if you really want something and maybe you're from out of town, you don't want to lug it back home. Obviously, if it's within driving distance for you or it's in your town, that's great. For someone like me who's traveling from Florida, man, I'll just wait and have you ship it.
No, I agree. There's nothing worse than having to buy an extra bag because you can't fit shit in you.
Yeah. But I did run into Mr. Slowpoke Toys. Greg is his name, actually. His real name, at least I don't believe his real name is Mr. Slowpoke.
You never know.
But I saw him on Saturday, and he said, hey, I haven't listened to the episode yet. What are we watching for next week? And I said, we're watching The Fugitive, pal. It's on Tubi. It's on Max. Have at it. So I know he's caught up now. He left a comment on the YouTube video. So I hope he's got his Fugitive already worked in.
I love it. All right. Well, it sounds like you had a good time. Well, I knew you would have fun because you're hanging out with your friends. So no matter if there's, fun stuff there, you're going to
I was saying, it makes me wonder what the future is for the toy conventions like this. It's one thing to have like a San Diego Comic-Con where you're going to show off new stuff. But for the traditional, hey, let's go buy classic toys, it's very awesome to see stuff in person, right? Stuff that you maybe haven't seen in 20 years, 30 years, or ever. Maybe you've never seen a G.I. Joe Defiant Space Center in person. Ooh. I had one as a kid. I saw one this weekend fully assembled. It was the first time I've seen it in over 30 years.
That's awesome.
And I was like immediately brought back. But I just think because of the internet and because kind of in these communities, everybody knows each other, I just wonder if there's enough business taking place to continue making it worth it for the vendors to pack up from all over, travel, set it up, put everything up on a nice display, traipse it, back across wherever they got to go. Like I said, Eternia Dreams comes from Maryland. So they drove Maryland to Ohio, did a massive setup and display. Beautiful, beautiful display with showcases and racking and all this stuff. It was great, but it's a lot of work. So is the money there to make it worth it? And maybe it is for branding.
I think just to get your name out there, you do a display, and now someone will always remember. Oh, Eternia Dreams. Oh yeah, I gotta go check them out when I get home. I think that's what they do it for. I would think,
because I got like the museum effect for it. It's great to walk through and look at everything. But had I not found this Filmation Ghostbusters comic book, I probably would have left empty-handed. Like that was I walked through the gift shop at the end, but I wasn't buying anything.
But I agree with that because the same thing. I go to horror conventions. Even New York Comic Con, people go 3-4 days. I'm like, how could you go like, and you're not doing panels, you're just walking around? It's the same shit, nothing changes
Over and over. Yeah.
So it's like one day is good enough for me. So I totally get that. There's 4 days. Get the fuck out of here. Goodness gracious.
Would I go again? Absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely. You know,
Like
and
I said,
now with my little low level of fame that I have, it's nice to know that I can go to one of these things, even if I'm by myself, and find people I will know.
that is good. That does. It's always fun. Comic Con's always fun because you go with your friends, you goof off, you look at the fun shit, and you have a good time.
I had such a travel snafu Thursday night flying into Columbus. I got there very, very late. I didn't get into the hotel until 2:30 in the morning or so.
Oh,
and
terrible.
I was staying with Kinnick. He had a room, thankfully, because hotel rooms for the entire weekend were so expensive.
I can only imagine.
So-
There's not much going on over there, right?
Yeah. Well, you got to see this convention center, because next door there was like another convention center
Oh, yeah?
with an anime convention going
Oh,
on in there.
Jesus.
And man, that thing looked popping. The cosplays
yeah,
for the anime.
better off going in there, bro.
At one point, I looked at Brian Myers and I'm like, yo, I think I kind of want to go to that one. Like, you peek your
Yeah.
head in and you see it's like, oh, this fucking looks like the jump off right now.
They're doing all the things you wish yours was doing. They're having parties, they're having contests.
Yo, it
Hell
almost
yeah.
looked like a rave. Like there's fucking music.
I bet you there's a rave.
blasting.
You know there's a rave going on, 100%.
It looked great. And at one point, like the first day, Kinnick and I are walking to the show floor, and it's this long hall. This convention center is huge, and it's like downtown Columbus. The arena is like right across the street. This is the place where they hold the Arnold every year. So there's a statue of Arnold Schwarzenegger in the pose out there. I posted a photo with it on my Instagram. There's bars, there's restaurants, there's a lot of stuff to do in this area. It's a really cool area. And I'm like, oh, fucking Columbus, Ohio. Like, who gives a shit? It's a lot to do over there. But man, this fucking anime convention looked popping, bro. I wish I would have bought like a day pass and just gone.
Talk to
Like,
the
just
boys.
walked in.
Next year, let's do the anime con instead.
Yeah, let's
bro.
get booked on the anime con. But like, we were walking to the PowerCon the first day, and it was PowerCon was the last side of the convention center. Anime came first, so the whole line of people waiting to get into anime is waiting, and they look at me, and I'm just dressed like me, and some girl goes, "Hey, are you supposed to be Paul Blart Mall Cop?"
What a reference. I like people still talking about that movie, huh?
And I just looked, I said, "Indeed I am," and I smiled and kept it moving.
You made her day. She can tell you what. I saw someone
I
dressed
saw
as
some
Paul
guy dressed
Blart.
up as Paul Blart. Meanwhile, I'm in like a Hawaiian shirt, and
I don't know. I haven't watched those movies in a while. Does he wear a Hawaiian shirt ever?
I don't think so.
I know he's a cop. Does he get to go on vacation? I don't know.
But he had like a Segway and stuff. I don't know. But I finally get in Thursday night, 2:30 in the morning. Kinnick was gonna wait up. He's like, I can't do this. So he left the key for me at the front desk. I get the key, no problem. I'm trying to be as quiet as a 300-pound mouse could be while getting in the door. But obviously, the lock, you hear it, whatever.
Of course.
And I just see in his bed, the two beds, he's all swaddled up with the covers pulled tight and his little bald head peeking out. And it just tips up slowly, and you can see his eyes squinting to try to make out this vision. And he just drunkenly goes, "You're beautiful," and goes right back to sleep.
What a way to be greeted. The best way.
Fucking Kinnick is the best.
Oh, that's good. Oh, goodness. Love to hear it, Joe. This is
Yeah,
good.
so
It's fun.
we had a good time. Would I go
Love
back?
it.
Absolutely, I would go back. It's PowerCon, man. And even if I don't go, I still buy a ticket every year just because I want to support. And Val does a great job. Val Staples, he runs He-Man.org for years and years and years. He's contributed so much to the Masters of the Universe community over the past couple decades that I feel like it's the least I could do, for helping keep the thing I love alive. And in the mainstream, the least I could do is buy a ticket to your convention.
Is this the first year they did the non-He-Man, or did they start that last
So
year?
last year was really the first year
Last year
that
was
they
the
did
first,
Columbus, and I didn't make it. So this was the first one I've attended in Columbus.
Okay. So I was wondering, I guess the feedback was good enough to do the second year that way. So.
I mean, it's got to be a case with obviously cost. This has a much bigger kind of setup. Like there are available rooms, conference rooms for panels, and the show floor is very big, and there's a lot to do. Like the second you walk out the door of the hotel, so it's not like the only thing is Anaheim was like a destination.
Sure,
know?
it's a very big difference.
And when you're in the hotel in Anaheim where they would hold PowerCon, you could walk outside. If you went to the left, you would go to Disneyland. Like you could walk to Disneyland legitimately. If you went to the right, you could go to Universal Studios Hollywood and walk there. So there's a lot of things pulling where even if you want to go to PowerCon for a day or even 2 days, there's still stuff where if you want to make a week-long vacation out of it, there's like big things, touristy attractions to do.
Did you do anything?
We went out for dinner a couple of nights, went to some local bars. What was going on in Columbus was back-to-back nights. We didn't go, but back-to-back nights, nearly sold out both nights at Ohio Stadium. Our double main man in concert, Mr. Morgan Wallen.
Hysterical. Oh man. I can't believe it wasn't sold out, bro.
Ohio, not the arena, the stadium.
Oh, damn, the fucking Ohio. Okay, that's crazy, bro. Damn.
Nearly sold out both nights, back-to-back nights. And we were at a bar one night. All of a sudden, this influx of people comes in. We're like, oh, it must have been some concert or something. We looked up, it was Morgan Wallen. And I'm like, it wasn't long ago where Gomez and I were like, who the fuck is this guy?
This guy's the hot guy, apparently, bro.
And then fucking Myers and John Cohn were like, Morgan Wallen was here? Oh my God. If I would have known. And then they were like, Myers is like, oh, I wouldn't have been able to go. My wife would have given me so much heat if I went without her.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, you would have gone. You can't do that. That's a big artist to be seeing without your wife, bro. Oh,
so it was a good time. It's nice to hang out with my friends, see the boys, and be around the things you like, right? You know, find what you love and let it kill you. So it's very, very fun to be around stuff you like. That's going to be the title of this week's episode, isn't it?
Oh, I don't know. Jacques Cousteau of Geek or whatever you said earlier was pretty good too. I was already picturing you swimming into some toys or something. I got some ideas. We have options.
So that was PowerCon Gomez. And with all that being said, hit the breaking news music.
Oh, snap. Breaking news. Breaking news. What's been going on, bro?
Gomez, so much going on in the fast food realm right now.
Oh, shit. Lay it on me. Let's go.
I think we're a little early for this, personally, but apparently it's pumpkin spice season.
Yes, all the pumpkin shit is. I've seen like they got pumpkin Cheerios. Bro, they already got the Frankenberry and shit is out already. Like, what are we doing?
People are barely back at school.
It's still 90 degrees out, bro. Like, what are we doing?
The weather in Columbus this past weekend was incredible. I'm talking like 78, beautiful skies, no humidity. It was just perfect. Good. I got off the plane back in Orlando, and I was like, oh my God, I'm fucking melting. Yeah. The humidity, the heat. This has been such a bad summer. And I've been down in Florida 13 years now. And I'm sitting here telling you, this is a bad summer, man. Like I know what hot is in Florida. This is bad. And I'm genuinely worried for hurricane season because the water is just too hot.
Yes, the sharks are coming over there because it's nice and warm. Yeah. Sharknado.
Pumpkin spice season is upon us. Wendy's dropping a pumpkin spice frosty. No date on that yet, but it should be coming up soon because Oreo pumpkin spice is back on shelves. Should be now.
Oh, yeah.
Then Dunkin' Donuts dropped its fall 2023 menu this week. They've got a pumpkin spice signature latte, a nutty pumpkin coffee, and some pumpkin donuts and munchkins and muffins. So pumpkin spice season, we're in the middle of it.
You down with the pumpkin spice?
Not necessarily. I'm just not a pumpkin guy in general.
Yeah, like I'll have a slice of pumpkin pie, like a bite of it. It's not really my thing.
I don't like it. I tried a pumpkin spice creamer.
Okay.
Maybe like 2 years ago. It's up on youtube.com/JoeShoes. Liked it more than I thought I would.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I don't go looking for trying pumpkin. It's just not something.
Pumpkin beer? You do the pumpkin beer?
I don't like it. I've tried a couple different ones.
I'll do a couple. I do. There's one or two that I like. I forget which ones because people always making me try stuff. But I do like when you go out and they put the little sugar, the cinnamon rim,
the brown sugar or whatever.
I love that shit. That's good.
Yeah. Our friends over at KFC, JoeMeZ.
Oh, what are they doing, bro? Here, I'm excited now. KFC.
This past Monday, they dropped in select markets
Fucking
only
jerk offs.
funnel cake fries.
Oh, I don't know what that means, but I want it.
You know funnel cake?
Yeah.
Picture it in strips, like fries.
Oh, okay. So it's like, all right. So it's like little dough pieces.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I like it though. I'll get down with it.
Next week, Wendy's is sprucing up the breakfast menu with some English muffin sandwiches.
Oh, Wendy's breakfast. It's not bad. It's not great, but I like it. There's some stuff I like on there.
What else we got here? McDonald. You know what? I'm gonna save the McDonald's one because I'm gonna get hot about this.
Oh, okay.
But Burger King coming in hot right now. Burger King dropped some Royal Crispy wraps, 3 different flavors. They got a honey mustard, a classic, and a spicy. Getting into the wrap game.
Yeah, it's like them things we used to get, the crunch wraps from McDonald's. Snack wraps, yes.
Yeah.
Those were good, bro. Chicken selects.
But while they're doing this, they're also dropping a new honey mustard BK Royal Crispy chicken sandwich.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. I do like their honey mustard.
So a full-size chicken sandwich, the Royal Crispy, the round one.
The round one, yeah, the round
They keep trying to get us off the trail of the
I
original
know.
chicken
What
that
are
we
we
know and
doing?
love. And it's like, why are you messing with perfection, baby?
Come on, bro.
You continue to use that.
Yeah, it's silly. I don't get it.
But yeah, honey mustard BK Royal Crispy chicken. Those are probably out now as you guys listen to this podcast.
I'm interested in that because I do like the honey mustard. I get that with nuggets sometimes. So a whole sandwich of it, probably good.
But McDonald's, now this is gonna get me hot.
No,
Because sometimes when McDonald's does stuff, it's cool. Like Carlito, that's cool. And sometimes McDonald's does stuff and it makes you very mad, very angry. And what they've got going on now, and we had this problem when they did the Grimace shake, right? You had to buy the fucking Grimace birthday combo. And it was either a Big Mac or a 10-piece nugget. A fucking regular combo. Instead of you got the Grimace shake as the drink. And here they have given us the as featured in meal.
Oh, I really don't like this.
This is to promote like how important culturally McDonald's is, where the brown paper bag you get your food in, they'll say as featured in and have a list of movies that the McDonald's bag has shown up in.
Okay.
And this is supposed to be done as a tie-in with season 2 of Loki on Disney Plus, where guess what you get? You get the as featured in combo meal, which is either a Big Mac or a 10-piece McNuggets, fries and a drink with sweet and sour sauce. Now you say, what the fuck does that have to do with Loki? The sweet and sour sauce is branded with like a Loki label on it.
What the fuck are we doing, guys? This is...
And not only that, I say, because this thing is out like now. This came out Monday. So you can go get this now. Get your Loki sweet and sour sauce right now. And I said, wow, I guess that show started up not for another 2 months.
It's true, but they're so bad.
This Loki show doesn't come out until October, and yet I'm getting branded sweet and sour sauce today. What are we doing, McDonald's?
I don't understand. I don't get it.
What the like is there? Did I miss something in season 1 where Loki's like, wow, I really love this fucking sweet and sour sauce?
Bro, I'm looking at the picture. It's gonna be up on the screen for the YouTube people. Bro, it literally says on the it says the sweet and sour sauce as featured in Loki. That's all the sauce. That's it. Oh, what are we doing? I don't even understand how that makes sense to McDonald's. We got all this sweet and sour. We gotta produce some labels that just say local. What are we doing? Oh,
You know, McDonald's does this thing where they give us the same thing they've already been giving us. They don't change anything. Oh, you can get the Big Mac meal now. Yeah, no shit. Like your McDonald's. Of course I can get the Big Mac meal.
but that's not even like at least like with the
Like
some
the
of
Cardi
those,
B meal. It's like, oh, she likes this with mayonnaise on it.
yeah, it's like, oh, she's getting a burger and fries and she gets a side of barbecue. At least, you know, that's not normally how it comes. You're getting barbecue for your fries. You're supposed to get a fucking sweet and sour with your chicken nuggets, bro. I don't understand what you're doing for me here. It's literally, oh, I don't understand. Oh my goodness. McDonald's is dropping the ball, bro. And also, bro, I don't know. I haven't seen one McDonald's that sells this Oreo pie thing.
So
in New York, New Jersey.
I haven't seen it yet.
App.
I've talked to a lot of people who have had it though. And the feedback has been very underwhelming. They said it's not enough like Oreo flavor. It tastes like it's got like a little marshmallowy taste to it. But it's very no, but like not like enough. Like so I haven't spoken with anyone who has loved it. No one has raved about it. People have said it ranges between this is terrible to I guess it's okay.
That's upsetting because I'm just so excited. Anything Oreo, I just want it in my face. You know what I'm saying? I just need
all
Oreos
and around my mouth,
just everywhere. Oh, exciting food news. Thank you for keeping me up to date here. I appreciate that.
I really didn't have a chance to watch a lot this week, JoeMeZ. I obviously was on the road for 3-4 days, but I did watch an old movie because we did a special bonus podcast for the Major Pod Network. They've been doing a movie club once a month for certain levels of their Patreon, and I was a part of that this month. So if you're a member of the hard or ultimate tier, you can listen to that. We watched Dick Tracy.
Ooh, nice.
So I'm assuming you remember when Dick Tracy came out.
Sure, yes, I do remember the hype around. Like I remember
the hype
it was a thing.
Real.
Like it was
now,
like one of the first events.
As a kid?
As a kid, I think I did. I do think I went to the movies and saw it, and I've seen it, you know, within the past, 5-6 years. I have rewatched it, but I didn't remember when I watched it as an adult. I was like, oh, okay. Like I didn't remember a lot of the movie, to be honest.
So I didn't see it as a kid, but the vacation I talk about often where my dad took us to Disney World. Yeah. That was the year Dick Tracy came out. And Dick Tracy logo was on everything.
Everything.
When you went to Disney World that year, you didn't buy a Mickey Mouse poncho. You got a Dick Tracy poncho. Like it was everywhere. At one point, they were discussing there was going to be a ride, a meet and greet. There was photo ops. Like it's weird because this is a gangster movie with the good guy shooting a Tommy gun machine gun at you. Like, I don't know how that's supposed to appeal to kids, but different times. But Dick Tracy was really, really big and had so much hype. And I never saw it as a kid. In fact, I didn't see it for the first time until the pandemic, where I was going out of my way to watch movies I'd never seen before. So I don't have that experience of like how I felt as a kid, but I do remember that it seemed like it was a big flop. People I know hated it. And it was they were banking on this being their Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
Disney was looking to make a series out of this. It was going to be like their version of adventure films. And it definitely was not that. But I went back and watched it this past week. And honestly, I don't think it's that bad.
I think it's fun. It's fun.
I don't think it's that good.
No. But it has fun moments. It's fun.
It's just... there are good things about it. There are bad things. The story is not great. It kind of drags in a lot of spots. A lot of things feel shoehorned in. But I don't think it's as horrible as the reputation it got back when it first came out. And that reputation kind of makes no sense to me. Like when you go back and watch it, it's just like, what was so bad about this movie that we all thought it was terrible?
I don't know. Maybe we're just used to shit like that. Because think about when that came out, there ain't nothing like that in the night. You know,
I mean, it was supposed to be like after Batman '89 made all that money. Dick Tracy comes out the next year, and Batman kind of triggered this whole like, oh, people must really like these kind of old 1930s comic strip stylings. So we got, like this, we got Batman, the Phantom, the
Shadow,
the Rocketeer,
the Rocketeer. Yeah, exactly. But they decided to do pulp comics.
So we got a bunch of that, but like, I just remember this, like everybody hated it. And when I go back, I did a little research. Rotten Tomatoes has this as 61% fresh, which seems very out of line with how I remember it. Even the audience score is 53%. So it's just, maybe it was just us as kids remembering things way differently than they were.
But maybe it didn't make money. Maybe that's why it was so bad. Like it
wasn't a complete financial flop. I just don't think it made the extent of the money they were hoping it would make. Because it had a $47 million budget. Originally, they wanted to get the movie done for 25. And then they took, once it went up to 47, because Warren Beatty was like, no, got to keep adding here. He directed it. Got to keep adding here, adding here, adding here. It was his baby. He owns the movie and television rights to it. That money, anything over $25 million was coming out of his residuals. So until the remainder was paid out on the budget, he didn't see any extra money on that. But this movie finished domestically at $103 million. So it's not terrible. It didn't have the impact that they were hoping or expecting it to have.
Interesting. I remember liking it when I watched it as an adult, going, this ain't so bad. I think like Al Pacino, right, is the main guy. I think that was some of what people were like what is Al Pacino doing in this movie? And
but it's so many big name actors. You got Paul Sorvino is one of the guys. The Graduate. Why am I having a hard time with his name right now?
Dustin Hoffman.
Is Mumbles. He's in it for 2 scenes.
Yes, I remember Mumbles.
So I mean, it's all these guys who I guess they did it as a favor or whatever, and they're so caked under makeup, it almost seems like a waste to even have this level of talent involved in a project like this. And even Madonna was like begging to be in this movie. She did at this point, Madonna's a star. She's like one of the biggest names on the planet, and she did this movie for scale just because she wanted to be in it. And apparently she was dating Warren Beatty at the time as well.
Oh, look at that. Is she part of the problem? Was it like Madonna's bad in this movie?
No, she's not. I will say she's not part of the problem. It's just, I just don't think it's a great script. Like I said, it's very jumpy. So many things feel shoey. There's so many bad guys. And they're trying to get them all in. And they're in like these big scenes where you don't even know who's who or why they're there. And then they all get killed. They're just there to be there.
Sure.
And I think that's a big problem more than anything. But one of the things I come away having just watched it, Madonna's on this big, like ripping stretch of banger soundtrack songs. She's got This Used to Be My Playground, which comes out a couple of years after Dick Tracy from A League of Their Own. She's got the song from With Honors, I'll Remember, big song.
Great.
She's got, like these are real big songs. She's got Who's That Girl? From the film Who's That Girl?
Whoa.
Crazy for You is from Vision Quest. Like these are top-notch songs. And I come away from this movie going, I feel like there wasn't like a banger Madonna song in this movie. And yet she wins an Oscar for Best Original Song in a Movie for Sooner or Later, which is like the song she's performing at the club. And it's like, really?
Really? She won an Oscar for that. Wow. Yeah. They were just like, we want to be in the Madonna business. Let's make her happy.
Well, this movie actually got quite a few Academy Award nominations, 7 of them, which was a record at the time for like a comic adaptation.
Yeah, that's crazy. 7. Wow.
And it won for Best Original Song, Best Makeup, and Best Art Direction.
All right, the makeup I get because there's some crazy
Yeah.
like stuff. Sure.
And those were records until Black Panther, for comic adaptations.
Interesting. So I love that Warren Beatty, right? Because he owns the rights. Every couple years, he will show up and do an interview,
Yes.
just to be like, "I'm still using the character, the rights to." I believe he did one last year where he just.
It was very recent, yeah.
Like I love that. Why are you holding on to it? Let someone fucking do something, bro. What are we doing?
I think so. After the movie came out, there was a bunch of lawsuits pertaining to residuals and royalties and stuff, with people making different claims. And I think that's why a sequel never got done. I could see a reboot of Dick Tracy working now if you got some people who are really into the fandom and really took almost a simplified approach to writing the script, like you saw with Ninja Turtles recently. Both of us liked this movie a lot. It was a very simple script. Here's a little bit of a different take on this, but for the most part, it's pretty simple, easy to follow. We're not jamming a ton of stuff at you at one time. And I think if you did that with Dick Tracy, I think there would be a market for it.
You brought up Ninja Turtles. I heard a podcast they were talking about before the expectations. They were saying that the movie was tracking for 25 they were looking for opening weekend. So it did much, much better than the projections, and that the budget was in the 70 million mark.
Well, after its second weekend then, because I got the numbers in front of me, Ninja Turtles is over $72 million now.
There you go. And that's just domestic?
That's just domestic.
Yeah, so there we go. So that's good. Oh, we're getting a sequel, baby.
It's not huge internationally. It's only made 22 million international. Because remember, we said, we didn't know how the Turtles kind of fare.
I don't know how it crosses over. Yeah,
but I have it down as 22 million internationally so far.
All right, I'll take it though.
But that puts Ninja Turtles in third on its second weekend, because we are living in a Barbie world.
Still number one, huh?
Still number one. Another $33.7 million for Barbie.
Insane.
Oppenheimer still number two, which is more insane.
That's more insane. That is more insane.
Oppenheimer, another 18.8 million, putting Oppenheimer at 264, which is crazy.
Fuck, bro, 264. That is just this is insane.
Your movie Meg 2 made 12.7 this week, putting it over 50 million domestically so far. People got to be fucking thrilled with that. The biggest release, I guess you could say, this weekend was The Last Voyage of the Demeter.
No, the racing movie was the movie.
No, that's not out yet.
That didn't come out? What are you talking about?
No, that's next week.
Next week? What do you mean next week?
Next week. Not even this week. Next week.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought that was the movie this week.
Well, that's what I listen to you. You're usually good with this, but it's not out.
Oh, okay.
But Last Voyage of the Demeter, 6.5 million. But going back to Barbie for a second, I said we're in a Barbie world right now, right? 33.7 million, and this is what, week 3. That's huge numbers for week 3. Domestic alone, $526 million, putting it second for the year in North America, right behind Super Mario at 574.
I can't even. It's just, that's crazy.
Hold on. It gets better.
Oh, it gets better, huh?
Worldwide, Barbie is now over $1.18 billion, which makes it the 25th highest grossing movie of all time. It just knocked out Minions from the top 25 of all time. And I think after, maybe not after this week, because now we're in numbers that are really big. But Mario Brothers is 15th all time at 1.35 billion. We said Barbie's at 1.18. Iron Man 3 is the next one up at 1.21 billion.
It's crazy to see. We're gonna have, Barbie's gonna crack, the top 10 or some shit, and we're just gonna be like, wow, fucking Barbie.
If it gets to the top 10, you know what movie it bumps? You know what's 10th right now, all time?
on one of them Jurassic Park movies.
It is a franchise. It's not that franchise though.
Okay. I'm trying to think. What would be on there? Tanks. I'm trying to think. There's a lot of stupid shit up there. I'll say. I guess. Is it a Marvel movie?
It is the first Avengers movie.
Okay. Wow.
That's 10th all time right now. That's at $1.51 billion. So Barbie's fucking coming for you, Marvel. 2023, the year of Mattel versus Nintendo.
It is pretty crazy. Barbie versus Mario. Two things we've all grown up with finally got their shine.
I read an article that the original Mario Brothers movie is going to have a re-release in Japan.
What?
It's the 30th anniversary. And I guess it's some kind of cult classic there. And this is where we have to say sometimes nostalgia is bad. That we have retconned this movie into thinking it's something good when that original Super Mario movie is fucking atrocious. It is terrible.
It's not good. I mean, you might get some enjoyment out of how like crazy and like what the fuck is happening, you know, but as like a good movie, no, it's come on, like there's too much of that going on where everything's a good movie now. Like, come on, no, it was bad then. It's not
bad
good
then
now.
and it's bad now. Like, even I love Masters of the Universe. That was the first movie I actively remember trying to convince myself was good when I was leaving the theater. I was like 6 years old, dude. Now, when I go back and watch it, and I do rewatch it from time to time, it's not because it's good. And I know it's not good. Does it hold a little bit of nostalgia and love in my heart? Yes, it does. But I understand that it's not good.
So I just checked something. So the reason I thought this movie came out, this racing movie, is just like the Ninja Turtles. It was playing at my theater this weekend when I was looking up this Dracula movie that came out. It had a couple showings. And again, this weekend, it's showing again a couple times. So they're doing this thing. How is this movie supposed to make money when for 2 weeks in a row before the official release, you have a couple showings? What are we doing, movie theaters? What are we doing? This makes no sense.
That movie's going to be horrible. I mean, maybe it's not as bad. It's just, you know what? I have no interest.
I have no interest. I mean, maybe it's good, but yeah, not for me, bro. Like I said, cars got to be fighting a submarine, going into space, something. Not just driving in a circle. We don't do that shit. NASCAR, F1, whatever the fuck this is. Fuck that. Oh, Joe, I didn't watch much. I had two things I just wanted to bring up real fast here. One is every Sunday we do our family movie night. We spin a wheel, we watch whatever it lands on. This week's movie was Kubo and the Two Strings. This is one of these stop motion, kind of movies, like the puppet guy.
Okay.
And it's like it's about a kid. He's got a guitar, the two strings, he's playing the guitar, and it's like got magic and stuff like that. I just gotta say, I love this movie. This movie was fantastic. It came out, I think, 2016, 2017. And I thought it's one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my life.
Really?
Like, I always love that kind of animation because I think it's just so amazing that they fucking take a picture 700 times just to fucking wave. Like, it's crazy. And I'm watching this movie just going, oh, I guess like they did some CGI. And then at the end in the credits, they show, nah, bro, they built like massive skeletons. Like that you see like on people's lawns, right? From the Home Depot skeletons.
Okay.
Like they built that to like use in the movie. Like, it was just amazing looking. I was blown away by it. So I just had to give that a shout out. It's a couple years old. It's not streaming anywhere. I had to VOD it. But goddamn, Kubo and the Two Strings. If it ever comes across your path, please check that out, bro. It is good shit. And then the other thing, I picked up a book from the library. It came out a couple weeks ago, but my library didn't have it. You got to order books sometimes. You could do that. I don't know if people know this in the library. If you want a book and they don't have it, they'll usually get it for you. use your library, folks. It's very good. So this book is called Wild and Crazy Guys: How the Comedy Mavericks of the 80s Changed Hollywood Forever. And so it's all about basically the SNL people, because those were the hot people of the time. And I'm just about done. I got a couple chapters left, but it's good shit, because it's basically just going through the history of 80s comedy pretty much. And some of these stars that we think Steve Martin, right? This guy had bomb after bomb after bomb. He did The Jerk, and then his next like 4 movies in total didn't equal what The Jerk made. Like he just but like to me, it's like Steve Martin. He's been the hot shit forever. Now,
in my mind, he goes right from The Jerk, which I believe was like 78, and from there he doesn't do anything else until Father of the Bride in like 92.
He does a lot
he
of
might
stuff.
have skipped the 80s.
Oh, I'm sweet. They wrote about him in this 80s book. I don't remember him at all.
He did have a cameo in Little Shop of Horrors. It's more than a cameo, but
yes. That was Bill Murray's first movie in like 5-6 years. He like stopped doing movies for a while. His mom got sick, and he just like said, you know what? I'm not gonna do movies. And like every year, people will offer him, here's $2 million to make a movie. Here's $2 million. But he was just like, no. And then Little Shop of Horrors asked him to do a favor, and he was friends with everyone, so he came in. He's like, do I have to do the script? They said, no, we don't care. Just come in, do whatever the fuck you want. You just have to be enjoying it. You're a masochist. That's it. Okay. It's like, all right. It's awesome. The book starts with Bill Murray and Chevy Chase getting into a fight at SNL, punching each other.
Excellent.
It's good. It's good. It's a book you should definitely check out. Wild and Crazy Guys. I think you would really dig it, because it's good stuff. Chevy Chase is all over this thing. Cornelius Chase. What a terrible name. Cornelius. My goodness. But he was another one.
That's his dad's name in
That's
Community.
his dad's name. Yeah. That was his dad's name in real life. So
that's his dad's name in Community as well.
But he was another one who just bomb after bomb. My goodness, This man had nothing going for a long time. And then God bless the Vacation. That was the big one. That really, because he did stuff, and then like everything else just wasn't working until Vacation, and he kind of leaned into that stick a little bit. Stop being so pompous, right? He was always like the kind of arrogant kind of guy. So he kind of like, let me turn it down a little bit.
He was the country club guy. Like he really, he was always dressed nice. He thought of himself as like a good looking, rich, like the guy you hate. So
100%.
I also didn't watch much this week, JoeMeZ. So all I have is our main event of the evening.
Ooh, let's get to it. Oh, baby. It's going to be interesting here. And we haven't done an old movie like this in forever.
No, I mean, I just did talk about Dick Tracy, so we're
still
in the same,
like in our main event, though.
Yeah. So The Fugitive, 1993, was the #1 movie at the box office 30 years ago. That's why we're watching it now. I remember this movie, to me, like it wasn't like one of these hyped movies. It was just, your regular old adult movie coming out in the middle of summer, near the end of summer. If 100%. Everyone thought it was going to be such a hit, it would have came out a lot earlier.
100%. There's no way anyone thought this was going to be a hit.
And it's the story of Dr. Richard Kimball, unjustly accused of murdering his wife, who must find the real killer while being the target of a nationwide manhunt led by a seasoned U.S. Marshal.
Baby.
JoeMeZ, first memories of The Fugitive.
So I don't remember going to the movies or anything like that, but I think it was on TV a lot, right? It was like one of those movies that was always on, and I feel like I watched it a lot with my mom. Like I remember like that was a movie. It was like, oh, The Fugitive is on. Oh, let's watch it again. Like, and we just watched the shit out of that movie, bro.
Yeah, this is a movie that I feel I definitely don't remember going to see it in theaters, but I remember when it came out, I remember like adults being excited because it was a TV series in the 60s.
Yes, my mom was always like, "Oh, I remember that show when I was little." She always brought it
So
up.
I remember like that being a talking point, but I don't think I saw it till VHS. And
Sure.
then for whatever reason, I feel like we owned the VHS copy of this. And I don't know why, getting like legitimate VHS copies were kind of few and far between outside of like when Disney would open the vault and for the last time ever, take home the magic of Cinderella. And then they'd get you that call to action and they vault Cinderella for 15 years until they needed to make more money off it. They do another promotion with it. But for whatever reason, we owned a copy of The Fugitive. And I remember watching it and just being like entranced. Like I was so into this movie. And it's probably one of the first kind of adult movies that I remember like being like all in on. Outside of like a goofy comedy, like a Crocodile Dundee, around that time, you would have had me all in on Wayne's World or Ace Ventura, stuff like that, Fletch, but a genuine adult, a thriller, a little bit of an action movie. This is like one of the real first adult, I guess the Schwarzenegger movies, but those are almost cartoony.
It's different. It's different. What I mean? An action movie is totally different than a real adult drama thriller. 100%.
What? Maybe suspense. Maybe throw some suspense in there.
Sure.
Like
mystery.
Yeah. And like I just remember really, really being into this movie from the first time I saw it, and to go back and look at it now and see the numbers on this, has such a good rating universally. People, when you bring up this movie, always seem to have good memories of it, like I do. And I think of this movie very highly. So when I come across the fact that, hey, this movie came out 30 years ago, I say that's a good excuse to go back and watch this movie and see if those feelings are justified or if I'm viewing them through the nostalgia goggles.
Have you seen this movie recently? Like, when's the last time you had seen?
It's probably been a long time since I've seen The Fugitive, because even watching it now, this past week, I was like, oh yeah, this does happen. It was a lot of like refreshing the old memory here.
Love that. Yeah, I don't think I've seen it in 10 years or so. It's been a long time, because I feel like I've seen the movie. Like I felt like I watched this so much as a kid that it's like I remember. Like I remember The Fugitive. I know what happens. It's one of those movies where it's like I'm not running to watch it anytime soon.
So just some background on this movie. This comes out in 93. It's the third highest grossing movie of 1993.
Yes, very surprising.
So this finishes with a worldwide gross of $368 million.
That's a lot of money, bro.
That's a lot of money. Budget on this was $44 million.
I was gonna say it's like 50 million, I think. Yeah, that's great. That's what it's supposed to be.
The two bigger movies at the box office in 1993. JoeMeZ, do you know them?
93.
The number one should be a layup.
Oh, it was Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park by far.
And then what else came out in 93 though?
I'll tell you what, when I found this, I was like, really?
Interesting. Oh, so now I'm so see, because I was gonna say something like a Star Trek or something, but you wouldn't go really. So what was number two?
It's
here?
A great movie. Also saw it, loved it as a kid. Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh, I can see that. I remember that being a smash. Like that was fucking huge.
It was one of those movies everybody saw.
Yeah, and I felt like that was in the theater forever. My goodness.
Mrs. Doubtfire, $441 million in 1993. Jurassic Park, 914.
Which is in like back then, like that's just like they must have been like, bro, that number, like it must have blew their mind. Like it fucking made almost $1 billion just there.
Rotten Tomatoes has this at a 96% fresh.
I believe
with an audience score of 89%.
Okay, yeah, that's about
even
right.
IMDb has this at a 7.8 out of 10. So pretty universally regarded as a good movie. gets 7 Academy Award nominations, including Best Picture, which has to shock people because this, look, I like this movie a lot. It's not the kind of movie that I feel gets a Best Picture nomination.
No, but I just think because it was like the popular movie, I think they just said, "Oh," and Harrison Ford, stuff like that. You know, they said, "Let's do that." But yeah, because this is a remake of a TV show that was in limbo for years and years. So many rewrites, so there's no way in hell anyone was like, "Yeah, we got a winner on our hands." They're just like, "Let's get this shit out already. Let's go."
And I think so much of the success of this movie is based around the chemistry you have between Harrison Ford and Tommy Lee Jones, who plays.
It's all Tommy Lee Jones.
It's all performance. And Samuel I was going to say Samuel L. Jackson for a second, but Tommy Lee Jones wins Best Supporting Actor Academy Award for this movie for his portrayal as Samuel Gerard, the U.S. Marshal, and he ends up getting a spin-off movie a few years after the fact.
Which is the funniest thing that they made up. They say, "Yo, everyone liked that Tommy Lee Jones character. Let's bring him back." With Wesley Snipes.
You know, the amount of joke, like this was a memeable movie before we knew what memes were. There's so many one-armed man jokes and references were made in schoolyards nationwide, right? Every show, The Mask. I remember The Mask. Jim Carrey does no, it wasn't me. It was the one-armed man. Like
the thing I always remember is the Leslie Nielsen. Remember, Wrongfully Accused.
Wrongfully Accused has the spoof movie. Yes,
has the whole spoof. I always remember that stupid ass thing. God bless Leslie Nielsen.
And so I guess the original story to this is there's a doctor, Dr. Sam Shepard, who has a similar situation. The people who wrote the TV show and the people who also wrote the screenplay for this movie swear that it's not based on his story, but it is very close to the situation of the movie. Dr. Sam Shepard was accused of killing his wife. It's under very suspicious circumstances. The evidence doesn't really hold up. It seems like the police just kind of jammed this through, and he was an easy target to say he was the murderer. He ends up spending a decade in prison before having the result reversed after a appeal. And really, he tries to go back to being a doctor, but by that point, he's an alcoholic. His life is kind of drying up, and he doesn't really know what to do to make money. So his new father-in-law was a professional wrestler and brings him into the world of professional wrestling, where he invents a move that would go on to great fame in many decades later, actually, that becomes known as the mandible claw.
Hysterical. This is some story you're telling here, bro.
That story is also told in Mick Foley's first book, where he's about to become Mankind, and he goes to Jim Cornette to ask for help coming up with a finish. And now a good finish should be the type of move that can be done to anyone. You can give Stone Cold can give stunners all day, every day.
Anyone, yes.
The Undertaker can't necessarily tombstone Yokozuna.
Yes.
So it's stuff like that. And Foley he was doing the Cactus Jack elbow drop off the apron to the concrete floor.
Yeah.
Really didn't want to keep doing that.
About time to retire that. Yeah.
So Jim Cornette suggests the mandible claw and describes it. He's like, it's a nerve hold and all this. So Foley brings it to Vince, and he goes, "See, Vince, it'll be great because you could get the facial reactions of both guys as the move's going on. It's it's a nerve hold, so the guy is paralyzed because of it." And Vince just goes, "Well, pal, why would I bite your fucking fingers?" But they sell Vince on the deal, and that's how we know and love the mandible claw today. And it's all thanks to the man who supposedly The Fugitive is not based on, Dr. Samuel Shepard.
On the TV show, it was like every week there was like a new adventure, which is like such a weird idea.
Yeah,
it's like how did that work? So he would just like go to a new town and try to avoid the police and solve like a mystery. It's very interesting for a show. Like I don't get it.
It reminds me like when we spoke about the Incredible Hulk, and I'm like, oh, he faked his death, so that must have been the way they ended the show. And you're like, no, that's how they ended every episode.
Yeah, every episode he went to a new place as a new person. Every episode. Oh, the best.
Gomez, what do you say we hit some music?
Oh.
Are you a man? A double main man? Are you a man? A triple main man? A man? A quadruple main man? Are you our man? Are you our man?
All right, Joe. The Fugitive, 1993. Main man standings. What you thinking?
Man, I came in almost nervous that I was going to have my memories like tarnished in a way. I was like, oh, it's been 30 years. It's very possible that maybe this movie doesn't hold up, but I am happy to report that this movie is still great. The performances are spectacular. Harrison Ford and Tommy Lee Jones are wonderful. Joey Pants as the other U.S. Marshal adds a little bit of comic relief in there. He's doing Joey Pants stuff.
Yes, he is.
You know, he's really good, and I just buy into the story. I find myself being sucked in, and it is because of the chemistry really between our two main players here, Harrison Ford and Tommy Lee Jones. It's just such a great dynamic that they have for it, where even the implausible situations within this movie,
there's a couple,
and there's quite a few, you know. But even the implausible situations that this movie finds itself in at certain points, I'm able to just kind of suspend my disbelief and just say, you know what? I'm okay with this. Just tell me the story. In the words of my best friend, Cody Rhodes, finish the story.
You're good friends.
So I ended up, when this was all over, I leaned back and I said, now that's a fucking movie. I still like this movie. I still think it's great. It is 2 hours and 10 minutes, but I feel like I am in it for all of that 2 hours and 10 minutes. And I'm going to give it a 3.5 main man, 3.5 stars.
So I think this is a good movie that is elevated by a great performance by Tommy Lee Jones. He's wonderful, fantastic. He ad-libbed a lot of those lines. Fucking go find me a fucking chocolate sprinkled donut, whatever the fuck he says. Hysterical.
We're going to search every hen house, nun house, whorehouse, bitch.
It's great. So I think he makes the movie. I think the movie is a little long. Okay. Once he jumps off that dam and survives, which is already the craziest thing. They could have had him jump off for anything, bro. But they make him live the most craziest thing you ever saw in your life. Okay.
It's a very wild, what appears to be 48 hours for the character of Dr. Richard Kimball.
You know, after that point, the movie kind of slows down because now he's like kind of trying to solve the mystery, unravel the mystery of what's going on here. I think that second half of the movie, I don't think it's as good as the first. I think it's great. You get the energy of what's happening.
You get the chase, yeah.
You get the chase, and then it slows down. It's not a chase anymore. This fucking guy is going to the most populated fucking areas that you could imagine. And he's the most wanted man, and because he fucking shaved,
nobody could find his hair.
Nobody could find him. He had fucking dye in his forehead, and he's looking fine. That shit came all out. He was perfect, crisp. Come on.
For someone who I would assume hasn't given himself many dye jobs, he certainly does a spectacular job his first time.
He does a great job shaving with that little ass kit. My man's got a beautiful bushy beard, clean shaven, not a scratch, looking fresh. Runs into a cop. Hey, have you seen this guy? Only every time I look in the mirror. What are we doing? What are we doing? So it's a little silly at times. But again, Tommy Lee Jones is fantastic. Deserves the Oscar. It's great. This launched his career. I think this man, how old do you think Tommy Lee Jones was in this movie?
Let's see, he's 119 now. So, I mean, that would have put him at what, 89? I'll tell you what, for all I know, Tommy Lee Jones was like 40, but he still looks 65 to me.
I think he's like 40 in the movie, which is like so. It's funny, like he's in his. He looks old, but it just works for him. This is the thing. I don't know what he did beforehand, but this is definitely the thing that made him. He's great. I do love Tommy Lee Jones. Men in Black, like he's fantastic. He's great. I love him. But you take him out of here, you replace him with someone else. This movie is not high on everyone's list. I also feel the nostalgia definitely plays a part in this. I think it's a fine movie. It's good. It's good. I'm gonna give it a 3. I'm gonna give it 3 stars. It's good. I didn't hate watch this. I enjoyed the movie. I'm into it. I just feel there are parts where I'm like, all right, this could be a little tighter, shit like that.
So Tommy Lee Jones would have been 46 years old when this movie was made.
46. All right.
He looks a good 20 years older than that in this.
He's a little older in there. He's a little older. Joe, if we were remaking this movie, who would you put in these roles here?
John Hamm.
John Hamm, you think it's good for Dr.
John Hamm
Richard,
is the
Richard
yes.
Kimball?
Yes.
And then who's Tommy Lee Jones? Who you think?
Me. Me and John Hamm just hamming it up.
I would throw maybe like Viola Davis, right? Doing her like Amanda Waller type.
I was gonna say
gimmick.
I wouldn't because of that.
But she could do it good here, like in a good thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because she's good in that, playing that like.
Well, I don't mean because of like the character she's played in that. It's just like she's already doing that somewhere else.
I know.
So
I just want to see her. I want to see her do it good, like oh, get recognition. Like, look, she's great because she's on like some of the best part of those suicide movies. She's great being the evil person. We'll see. All right, Joe, that was fun. I hope people enjoyed catching up on a classic movie like that. Now it's back to the theater for this week, Joe. You ready for some?
What's coming out?
Blue Beetle? Oh,
yes.
Baby.
With
I'm
Miguel
excited.
from Cobra Kai.
It looks fine. I think this movie is gonna be fine. I think we're gonna have some fun. It ain't gonna be great. It ain't gonna be bad. I think we'll enjoy I don't even know how long. If it's 2 hours, I might have a problem, actually.
I believe people were saying it is a long movie.
Oh, come on. Like, what are we doing here? Oh, all right. Oh, no. Oh, Jesus Christ. So I saw a headline, right? And I got so excited. Ready? Blue Beetle runtime makes it one of EU's shortest movies. I'm like,
it's
yes.
still 2 hours and 7 minutes.
2 hours and 7 minutes. Oh, my God. Maybe that's why we don't like DC movies. They're so fucking long, bro.
At some point, we got to pee.
Holy shit. Oh, yeah. So, all right, we'll squeeze that in this week. I hope to see the Dracula movie. I totally forgot it came out because that's a movie that's been coming out forever and just kind of no fit. Like, I haven't seen one fucking commercial for it. Have you? Like, that movie don't exist. You see a trailer for it and anything. We go to the movies 17 times a month. I ain't seen one trailer for this fucking movie about Dracula on a boat. I'm excited. Dracula belongs on boats. That's like one of the things. That's how he usually comes over from Transylvania.
Why wouldn't he
Dracula? Because that's not like a real thing. Like, they're not really bats, They're just kind of.
What do you mean they're not bats?
Yeah, I don't really turn to bats a lot in Dracula and stuff like that.
Get the fuck out of here.
So, like, he just,
Are you shitting me?
Like, it happens once in a while, but it's not like the bat thing. That's not really a thing a lot of vampires
Get
do.
the fuck out of here.
They could move fast and stuff like that, but they don't always turn into a bat.
Like the butler from Mr. Deeds?
Very, very sneaky.
Like this, I'm not even fucking kidding. You just rocked my world with this bat thing.
Yeah, so he goes on a boat to come over here, and when the boat docks, it's empty because he fucking ate everybody. So they're just like, "What's with this empty boat? What the fuck? Empty boat from Transylvania?
Is
what
that the Demeter?
So this is like, I guess this is a take on that. Yes,
that's the movie that came out last week.
Yeah, but that's like
okay.
a real thing. That's what happens in Bram Stoker's Dracula.
So this is a true story?
I mean, if Dracula's real, the book of Dracula, that's what happens.
I'm so fucking confused right now.
They do it in Morbius. Remember in Morbius, he's on like a
I
boat.
try not to.
They kind of do that where he's on a boat and he starts eating people and shit. Dracula
Morbius.
loves boats. That's canon.
So if you're interested in Secret Galaxy's YouTube channel, they do a lot of like pop culture deep dives, and they did one recently on the Spider-Man animated series, like from the 90s, and the character of Morbius, and under like what restrictions, like they couldn't say blood, like he didn't. So anytime Morbius would say anything, he'd be like, "I need plasma," and he couldn't bite you, so he had like these sucker holes on his
they
hands.
made the hand things. Yeah, I remember that. It was always like, what the fuck? Where did this come from?
Because he needs plasma.
I always liked him because his story was going on when Peter Parker was rocking the black suit for the first time. So it was cool, like, oh shit. And then I see it on the TV show, and it's like, what the fuck is this? What is this guy? This ain't shit. Oh, man. So, yeah, Blue Beetle, 2 hours, 7 minutes. Whew.
A quick 207.
Fucking unreal. But, yeah, and I guess, I keep forgetting Aquaman. I'm like, that's the last of our DC movies, but Aquaman is supposedly coming out sometime.
Just because it's not at the front of your mind doesn't mean you're forgetting it.
Oh goodness! But I hear it's not good. Aquaman is apparently a fucking disaster, which is not good to hear because I like the first one. The first one's a lot of fun.
The first one was good, yeah.
James Wong, what happened, James? What happened to the thing here? I don't understand. So
James Wan, more like Lames Wan. That's right. I went there.
Catching strays, bro. That's fucked up. Oh, well, that's next week, Joe.
So let's finish this week.
Let's get the hell out of here.
It's now time for the big finish.
Big finish time, Joe. You ready to spin a wheel?
Let's do it.
Let's spin it. We got here. Oh, this is a good one, Joe.
Oh, man.
Today's big finish, childhood crushes. Oh, baby. What was little Joey lusting over? Let's find out. Here we go.
Oh, man. Very easy, Monsoon. You see the lust in these eyes. Kelly Kapowski, number one with a bullet, man. Tiffany Amber Thiessen, God bless you. All-time number one crush.
I mean, I love her, and she's definitely gonna be on my list. But I think number one might be Alyssa Milano for me. I always loved Sam. And then she did the Poison Ivy movies right as we were going into those ages. So it was perfect timing.
When she did the movie, she was in Fear, right?
That was what's the face was the main girl. Who? Reese Witherspoon.
That was her?
Yeah. Getting finger popped by Marky Mark on the roller coaster.
I always believed that was Alyssa Milano. I learned something new today.
She's in the movie, but she's not the main girl. So maybe that's what you are thinking of.
Okay. So now I don't feel so bad. But she's up there. Alyssa Milano, I was always a scorch cake. But I don't think she's going to make my top three. Number two for me is going to be Christine Lakin. From Step by Step.
Oh, you love. Oh, that's funny.
We were like the same age. She was like the cute tomboy chick. I was like, oh my God, this girl is it, man. Christine Lakin still looks great. Did a lot of work. She does a lot of directing and stuff now.
Interesting. Let me see. I'm trying to find the girl's name. What's her name? She's in stuff as an adult. What the fuck is this? Why is my thing going on? The girl from Ladybugs. Do you remember this girl's name? I'm trying to look up her name here. The blonde girl. She's in other stuff. I just totally
I
my
have no
internet
idea.
is like
I can
crapping out on
see
me here.
I can see her face, but what the hell was her name?
I always liked her. She grew up when she was in what you call it. She did what the fuck? Vanessa Shaw. That's her name. There we go. I found the name. Yes. And so she was in a couple things. She's in my Hills Have Eyes remake, one of my favorite horror movies of all time. She has a role, and she was like, hadn't seen her in a long time.
In Hocus Pocus.
Yeah, she's in Hocus Pocus. Yeah. The older girl. Yes. So she's on my list. All right, let me try it down. I'm trying to think.
Number 3 for me. This one, I like. If you thought Christine Lakin was a little obscure, wait for this one.
Oh, okay.
Marla Sokolov.
Who is this?
I loved Marla Sokolov. You may know her as Gia from Full House. You may know her from Whatever It Takes. You may know her as one of the twins from Dude, Where's My Car? Marla Sokolov.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. I remember.
So pretty.
Oh man. I'm trying to think now. Who was my last one? There's some girl. I mean, I guess. Like I like Dora Birch, Christina Ricci. Like I like these people. I'm trying to. This is rough, bro. I'm trying to think. And what childhood? How young? How old we getting childhood? Like who? What are we?
Well, I mean, those were like
what's the age group?
I kept it to about 12. I didn't go past 12. Like high school would have been Katie Holmes for me. I like was so all in on Katie Holmes and Dawson's Creek. But I mean, when I think like childhood crushes, like just the fantasy of like having the girl that like it was innocent and pure that like you really just wanted to like have your mom drop you off at the bowling alley so you could spend a couple hours together before coming to pick you up. Like it would have been those 3.
Oh, so yeah, so it's definitely not Pam Anderson and Jen McCarthy. That's a little later.
No,
on.
Because those aren't crushes. Those are girls I jerked off to.
Those,
like
sure,
that's the naughty bits. Like,
I mean, we just all right. Okay.
Like look, I love love, and I like the idea of picturing myself in a relationship with Marla Sokolov. But like a very nice and good relationship. Like I want to go out on dates and like share an ice cream sundae.
And I'll say, since we're keeping it wholesome, I'll say Anna Klumsky, my girl.
Oh, for my girl, yeah.
We'll go.
He can't see without Gomez. Can't see without his glasses.
Bro, I almost got killed by a bee nest. I didn't see this nest, and I got stung, and I had to run away from this thing. And I was just standing there going, all these jokes I did about my girl, and if I got killed by being stung to death by bees,
you would have deserved it.
Holy shit, karma would have came out. Oh, that's all I could think of.
Imagine I get the phone call like, "Hey, Gomez is dead. We need you to do a eulogy." And I stand up there in front of everyone at Church of the Mez, and I say, "Well, guess we should have seen this one coming."
Let me tell you, if I die by bees, whoever's up there telling a speech, whoever's up there, you have permission to put glasses on me, to do the whole glasses thing. You have permission. It'll be written in the will. No one can say shit to you.
We have this on video. Today is August. as of this recording, it's August 14th, 2023.
Oh, I love it.
Thank you guys for listening to the JoeMeZ podcast. Remember to smash that subscribe button wherever it is that you're listening to this, or if you're watching on YouTube, leave a 5-star review, click those likes, leave some comments, follow us on all the social media at JoeMeZ. You can follow my personal stuff at the Joe Shoes. Coming up this weekend, Saugus, Massachusetts. Saugus in August. It's Major Wrestling Figure Podcast Live 17 from Kowloon Restaurant. It's going to be the party of August. It's going to be a lot of fun. There are I think we're in single-digit tickets remaining. So if you want to come, get those ticket orders in. Follow me at the Joe Shoes. ProWrestlingTees.com/JoeShoes if you like to support. And don't forget YouTube.com/JoeShoes.
The Gomez 154 Instagram, and I'm gonna say Twitter. Follow that Twitch stream, Mez Movie, because guys, we might be watching an episode of Double Dare soon. Yes, we might. So please follow. You never know when I'm gonna pop on and show that. You'll get that notification. Don't want to miss out.
Next week we'll be talking about Blue Beetles. So get to the movies, get out there, support the kid from Cobra Kai. But with all that being said, let's make like Tom and Cruise.
Peace.